Welcome to the Washington Defender Grassroots. I'm your host, Pastor Brian Noble, CEO of Family Policy Institute of Washington. I am so glad you are here today. Hey, we are doing another meet and greet the candidate. Just a friendly reminder, nothing in this video is an endorsement of the candidate, nor the candidate's endorsement of FPIW or FPIW Action. We simply are doing a public service to get to know those who are running for office. And so we are pleased to have Tonya on today. Tonya, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Brian.
Let's start out with, what position are you running for?
Yes, great question. I am running for state representative in the 44th Legislative District, position 2.
All right. So for some of you who may be new, we have an executive branch, we have a legislative branch, we have the judicial branch. So she is on the legislative branch and you're in the House, right? I mean, so you're on the large chamber side of things. Okay. So she's going to be on the House side is what she's running for. So tell us about your family and where you're from and all those kind of things. And then we'll get into the political questions, you might say.
The fun stuff, yeah. So I would say I'm born and raised here, but I was born in California, moved here when I was just about 2 years old. Grew up in a small town up north in Bellingham, Washington. And then after I graduated, moved to the Seattle area, got my first apartment in Seattle, Washington, off of First and Broad. And then got into property management. My family has been raised in that industry, married with 3 grown kids. My son just turned 27, which is crazy. My daughter is about to turn 25, recently engaged, and our youngest just turned 19, and she's at the UW Bothell doing her thing. So it's been great.
That's awesome. Our kids are kind of similar in age, and I have boys. So if you want to talk after the show, we can't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I love it. I love it.
It seemed like you had one daughter there that may be available, but anyways, great. That is awesome. So tell us why you're running and what your hope is and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I've been in the multifamily housing industry for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And in that, I've worked conventional and tax credit properties all over this side of the mountains, from Marysville to Tacoma area and Issaquah to Capitol Hill, the Seattle area. Currently managing 2 large properties, one in Bothell and Kent. And in doing such, I've just seen a lot of the policies that are coming out of Olympia, how they're affecting the good people that live here, the residents and the communities that I manage. And it's gotten to a point where I just couldn't sit back anymore and watch what was happening, hear the stories, hear the residents that come in, see the struggles, see the gaps in the programs and the policies that were laid out. I just couldn't do it anymore. So my husband said, you should run, you need to run. I said, no, absolutely not. I always kind of joke about it that, running for office was never part of my plan. I had lots of plans, lots of goals. Running for office, not one of them. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely clear to me that it was definitely God's plan. And it got to the point where I couldn't ignore God anymore, and prayed about it, and here I am.
There you go. Running to be a civil servant. That's something that we don't say very much anymore, but it's actually true. It's not a civil tyrant, it's a civil servant. So that's great.
Exactly. I'm like, how can I serve? And that's what I do every day at work with my community, my residents, my teams. It's like, how can I be of service today? How can we serve you today? Yeah. And so for me, it's just going to be a bigger community.
There you go. And you're going to see the, kind of like, where are these policies coming from and how they're put together, and then also have a voice of reason in Olympia.
Right.
That's exciting. So what do you hope to accomplish while you're in Olympia?
Oh, so many things. That's a great question. So many things. For me, some of the easier ones that are the most obvious pressing problems, affordability. Mm-hmm. People that just can't afford to live anymore. Paycheck to paycheck isn't even a thing. They're getting loans. They're, missing payments. There's a lot of things going on there that, I'm hoping to be able to look at and open the budget and see where we're spending our money and where we can reduce the expenses that are hurting people every single day, from the gas pump to the registers. That is a big one. Our paychecks aren't climbing any faster, and the expenses are just getting higher and higher. So looking at the affordability factor, mm-hmm. and then of course looking at my biggest passion, with the homelessness, addiction, the rising crime, those types of things, really looking at how we can partner together and help empower people, not build programs, but build people.
Yeah. That's interesting because it's really a side-by-side system that needs to take place with addiction, homelessness, recovery, mental illness. There's both obviously the government responsibility, and I would say the nonprofit / church responsibility to step into those realms and do a whole person approach to seeing these people set free. That's great. Awesome. So I know that you're going to be in the minority party, or I'm assuming that you're going to be in the minority party. What are some things that you can accomplish on that side of things? Because, and I always bring this up because I think sometimes our listeners, they forget we're the minority on every committee. We're the minority and on every floor, every branch. So talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing to bring up, which I've been talking a lot when I'm out there knocking on doors and connecting with the community in the 44th, that we're really just looking to try and balance the voices at the table, right? So when we're in there trying to have, productive, constructive debates in policies and suggestions on things, to be able to have more of a balanced voice at the table is huge. And so for me, it's just going in there with my experience and the things that I know, witness, and see, and being able to share that firsthand, boots on the ground. I can tell them from what I've, witnessed every single day with the residents, the communities, to share that insight and how their policies are actually affecting the people that have to live with them. So for me, more than anything, it's just making sure our voices aren't voided and everybody gets a chance to speak and be heard.
That's excellent. What are some values that you'll be standing on while you're in Olympia?
Oh, big time. For me, I say it all the time. It's just to protect what is sacred, our family values, our freedoms, our constitutional rights, protecting our children. That is a huge one. We're seeing, so much vulnerability there exposed that we need to be paying attention and reprioritizing our priorities with that in mind, and then to restore what is broken with the affordability and the crime and housing and our roads even. And then just leading with truth and conviction. I think that is the most important, just to having those conservative values, focusing on those values, bringing that common sense thinking, fiscally responsible, solution-based ideas to the table with, conservative background as well.
Excellent. Now, I'm assuming you have a website. In fact, I know you do because I put it in here for the little banner, but tell us about your website and how people can partner with you.
Yes. You can go to Tonya44.com, and that's TONYA 44.com. And there they can connect with me. They can submit an email, whether they want to get involved in volunteering or just learn more about what we are doing to get out there and help us reach the 44th, so they know they have a voice and a choice in the 44th. It's so important to get out there and vote. And then also, if they had anything that is most pressing to them, like I have my experiences, I hear stories, but at the end of the day, it's about the people in Washington and my district of the 44th. I want to know what's on their heart. Where are they struggling? Where would they like to see change, so that we can make sure their voices are coming with us to Olympia?
Now, for those that may be new to getting into the political realm, the 44th is like what cities? I know that some of the lines cut through them, but just in general.
Yeah. So Mill Creek and Snohomish area, like downtown Snohomish area.
Okay, so if you're in the Snohomish area or Mill Creek area, I want to encourage you. Your ballots are out. You have them sitting on your counter. And if you open it up, you're going to see right there, she is in the 44th position too, I believe she said. And so then you can weigh this interview and then make your decision of where you are. Any closing remarks you want to give?
Just that, I really believe that Washington is worth fighting for. I believe that our best days are ahead of us. We just need more passionate people that care about the Washington we remember and do what we can to make sure that we restore that and making Washington safer, stronger, more affordable again.
Yeah. And like we like to say around here, oftentimes we vote tribal, like we pick our side and we're like, hey, I'm just going to vote that way. And I would say we've had one party rule for a long time. and ask yourself, is it working out? Is that what, or do we,
Right.
like you said, do we need to balance the table a little bit? I don't know, but we hope as you do your research, as you get to know Tonya and her team a little bit more, that you'll find out if she's the kind of candidate you want, the kind of character you want, that kind of thing. So, Tonya, thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you so much, Brian. It was a true pleasure.
All right, you have a blessed day.
You as well.
You love our beautiful state, but does fighting for issues that most affect families ever feel like you're climbing alone? It can feel like an uphill climb in a hostile environment that champions causes detrimental to Washington families. Again and again, the summit feels out of reach, but you don't have to climb alone. With like-minded people fighting for Washington families by your side, the journey becomes not just possible, but powerful. The Defender app, brought to you by the Family Policy Institute of Washington, connects you with your team for the climb ahead. Connect with conservatives who care about issues affecting families in your specific county and across our state in order to make our voices be heard locally and in Olympia. Simply click Learn to stay informed about the latest news affecting families. With one click, press Huddle to team up with other conservative minds in your specific county who care about how these issues affect you in your unique community. Then simply press Activate to get involved and to make your voice heard on legislation that matters in Olympia. With the Washington Defender app, you won't face the fight alone. Together, we can make a difference for families in Washington. Download the Washington Defender app today, a simple way to let your voice be heard.